I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
Welcome to the 34 Motorsports Product Showcase. We're proud to offer the full line of Simpson Racing safety products. The Shark Speedway is a perfect brain bucket to keep your melon as safe as possible. We carry every model and size of Hans device, and these have saved countless lives. The Hybrid Pro Lite is an alternative to the Hans device and is just as effective. The DNA 3-layer suit offers maximum protection when things get hot. And hey, dude, those comfy shoes won't help one bit when things go south. Keep those hands ready to work with a pair of Vortex FIA gloves meeting every current standard. From 5 to 7 points, we carry every one of the Simpson harnesses, keeping your rear end right where it should be. Keep all your gear clean and together with the helmet and FHR bag, and always be ready to hop in a race car. Visit 34motorsports.com and order today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another night of iRacing content here on the National Racing Network. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth tonight by Kylo Ciacelli for round 3 of the TNT Shock series. Thank you, Kylo. I tell you what, man, we saw the officials here 1 week ago. The racing was hot, heavy, intense, and everything else. What are we expecting to see here tonight? This is a deep field.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening, everybody watching out there. Yeah, we're going to be seeing a little bit different from the Thursday night strength of field race. That race was during the daytime, much hotter track temperatures, a little bit harder to follow in the long run, and the tires would start to fall off. So nighttime now for these guys should be a lot better on the tires and be able to run a little bit closer. We might be seeing some pack racing. Could be 2 lanes, 2x2 for a little bit.
One of the interesting things, as always, with the TNT Shock Series, these are timed races. These are not, run them to 50 laps, 100 laps, whatever it may be. That really brings a pretty big element of the strategy game into play here. Before we get too neck deep in things, though, we do have to welcome aboard a new partner here to the National Racing Network. And going to give a big shout out to our friends at Premier Racing Setups, one of the longest running setup shops on the service. Whether you need speed on dirt or the asphalt, Premier has you covered with race-winning setups. They also have ultimate setup guides for many different vehicles and even offer one-on-one coaching from some of iRacing's best builders. If you want to take your iRacing career to the next level, check out PremierRacingSetups.com to witness the new standard. Halfway through qualifications here, Kylo, and no surprise, Chris Kresge heading to the top of the speed charts. Well, we say that, and, the surprises, the lack of shockers continue. Andrew Berry going to the top of the board, 21.120 seconds. Kresge second quick at a 21.151. J.W. Miller, West Shire, Nagisa Yoshikawa currently the top 5. Everybody that we would expect to be here at the top, that's kind of what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, top 10 looking pretty standard for what has been the normal here for the first couple of races of the series. Nagisa is back this week after having some equipment issues last week and not being able to participate. So look for him to try and make some moves tonight. He needs to get the points back here. Andrew Berry on pole, though. He was dominant here in the daytime during officials, and I expect no different from him. The guy's really quick on ovals, and Kresge came second in that Thursday night official race, right up there with him. Should be a good battle right off the start.
Last race out, Andrew Berry getting the win over Alex Teeter and J.W. Miller. At least one of those podium drivers will be different because Alex Teeter utilizing the drop week this week. Basically what that tells me is the guys who we would sort of expect to be at the front, they're going to be, chalk is kind of the name of the game tonight. But there are some pretty quick names here that are a little bit deep in the field. Currently seeing Vic Aldrich back in 15th in qualifying. Stephen Thompson, 22nd in qualifying. That's a name we're used to seeing more up towards the front of the field here. It could be a tale of two races here the deeper we get into this, because depending on where the caution flags might fly, that really is going to determine pit strategy because of how you have to count the race length backwards almost.
Yeah, because of the timing of the session instead of the official lap count, it does play into that factor a little bit. Caution flags can definitely throw up some strategy options. Some guys could elect to pit early and hope for late cautions that drag out the end of the race. Stay out, and hopefully no more cautions come out and keep at the head of the pack. So see how it goes now. Looks like the last car is just pulling in as we end the 5 minutes of qualifying. So we have our starting grid for tonight's race.
Yeah, starting grid is lined up, and we are getting ready to roll here. We're just getting our updated entry list printed out here for tonight. Getting some very late data from a couple of our drivers here. We do have a couple of new names to the series, but everybody getting out here onto the starting grid. You got to remember to get the setup swapped over from qualifying set to the race set. Infallibly, it seems like somebody does it just about every week, trying to be cute here with the setups. We'll see how that is all going to play out. Looks like everybody should be good to go. Just waiting for Andrew Berry and Jason Owens to get out onto the starting grid. And then we'll be able to give you the starting lineup here in just a moment. It looks like we have everybody out there, so let's get you the starting grid for tonight's race as they are going to roll off. And absolutely no surprise, the number 81 of Greenville, South Carolina's Andrew Berry out of the Action Sim Sport team lining up on the front row. Lining up alongside him, the 777 Bangor, Pennsylvania's Chris Kresge, the RIL Team Speed Revolution Indy League entry. Lining up on row number 2 will be the 6 of Minneapolis, Minnesota's J.W. Miller for Team Watson Racing. And lining up alongside him, defending series champion, Poughkeepsie, New York's Wes Shire. Nagisa Yoshikawa and Jason Owens on row number 3. Nagisa coming out of Chicago, Illinois. Jason Owens coming out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Row number 5 will have the 39 of James Watson out of Fairfield, California, and Lake Placid, New York's Jason Paydu. Row number 6, Simon Fell out of Corte Madera, California, lining up alongside of the 66 of Cypress, Texas, Chris Clement. Row number 7, Jason Miller, piloting car number 3 from Kakwana, Wisconsin. And lining up alongside from Camboriú, Brazil, Nieje Camargo. Row 8, Vic Aldrich and Dave Sparks. Row number 9, Matt Galida and Mike Long. Row 10, Robert Drew and Shane Holstein. Row 11, Nick Simone, Stephen Thompson. Peter Donchak, Tyler Ziegler on the final row tonight. Looks like Joe Varvel will be a did not start. Fields making their way off the final corner. Green flags getting ready to go in the air Start of this one, race fans, going to be all yours. Lap number 1 very quickly in the books, and it will be clean and green. Side-by-side battle, Chris Kresge down on the inside. Wes Shire tucked right up in his draft. J.W. Miller, the first of the cars down there running on the low side. Kind of like you said here, Kylo, not a real big surprise. A lot of pack racing early on in this one.
Yeah, we'll see how things line up here. Early on, the low line doesn't look like it's picking up that well. Nagisa is dropping back as he's being really left out of that high line there. He's got some space to move up into now, but chooses to run that in the SOF race on Thursday. The high line was the key for keeping momentum and not getting freight trains, so maybe that's more of the same tonight. Chris Kresge going at the front, though.
Yeah, Kresge makes the nice move down there inside into turn number 1. He will take the race lead over from Andrew Berry. Already early troubles for Tyler Ziegler. He will be likely out of this race. Saw that car down on the apron of the racetrack, barely getting a lap in the books. Joe Varvel just missed the start. Caution is out. Trouble on the racetrack. Looks like an issue here for Dave Sparks. And, oh, man, that car does not look good at the moment here. Let's get the instant replay queued up for you. Take a look and see what happened here. Sparks up on the high side of the racetrack. Oh, man, little right side romance and hard into the outside safer barrier. That will be the end of the night for Dave Sparks. Looked like may have been Matt Galida that he was racing with. That's tough there. A little bit of a slide up the racetrack, and unfortunately not much you can do. We'll get a better look at it here from this angle.
Yeah,
oh, man, huge net code.
A little bit of space there still with the net code, but looked like that crash was inevitable. Unfortunate for Dave. He's out of this one early. Looks like we might have a couple takers coming to pit road early here.
Yes, very surprising, quite frankly. Usually we don't see this kind of a run for pit road this early in the races. This is lap number 6. The fuel window that we were hearing was anywhere from 42 to 47 laps. You start doing some spitball math, keep things in the 20, we'll say 22-second range. You're getting, for all intents and purposes, about 3 laps per over the course of the stint. That would tell me that you're a 2-stop or at least 1 stop and a splash, I would think here. Probably 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then you're going to get to 45 and need that splash to get to the end. Maybe is this enough? Could we be in that window where this is the splash, but you're doing it at the beginning of the race instead of the end?
Could be. Could be just guys playing the tire game. I don't think the tires would have fallen off that much in 4 or 5 laps of racing there, so don't think that could be the real motive for that. But the fuel game could be really close. If another caution or 2 comes out, those guys could stay out and cycle through, gaining a little bit extra, just pushing that second stop a little bit further back into the race. We'll see how it goes there. Lights are out on the iRacing pace car. So single file restarts here. These guys should be all lined up against the outside wall, and we'll get ready to go. Chris Kresge, Andrew Berry, and J.W. Miller are the top 3 as they run right now.
Yeah, good run so far for Kresge. J.W. having a nice run. Jason Owens up 4 spots. He got some help from some of these guys coming down pit lane. Jason Paydu, Chris Clement up 5. Michael Long, hard charger of the race, currently up 7. Also, Nick Simone up 7 to run in the 14th position. A little bit surprising here to see Kresge and Berry as low on the racetrack as they are. Everybody's going to stay single file, and one of the things that race control, they do have live race admins for the series. So the long and short of what that means is you can't necessarily get away with stuff because the admin is watching. So maybe not as much of an impetus to have to run way up against the wall.
No, true. Maybe a little bit of mind games there, just playing it early. I think Andrew's totally satisfied running in second place right now behind Chris. Long race ahead of him still, so we'll keep it going. Just of the... Oh, it looks like we had an incident. Nick Camargo might have had an incident there. He's in the pit lane. We'll try and get a replay for you there.
Yeah, Nick Camargo having an issue just about... Oh, man, that's another one. Caution is out on the speedway as well. Looks like this is going to be a big incident back in the pack. Let's get you the instant replay on that one. Tough break for Nick Camargo. Oh, man, that, again, that almost, if there were a 3 strikes rule, I think Matt Galida might have hit the third one there. Big incident there, taking out Nick Simone, Vic Aldrich, and Robert Drew.
Yeah, big incident there. Just a weird checkup almost. It looked like in the middle of the corner and just got run over from behind. Yeah, not sure. He was just behind West Shire and James Watson there in about 13th or 14th position. And strange checkup in the middle of the corner. Definitely caught those guys off guard behind him. And that'll be their night's done as well.
Oh, so there it was. Mac was flat sideways off of turn number 4. Did a nice job saving the race car, but unfortunately the checkup kind of got everybody else involved with that one. And now this is where, let's see if we can go look back a little bit further here. There's Matt Galida around the outside of West Shire. Oh, yeah, just a big slide. Wow, what a save. Unfortunately, caught everybody else up in the mess that happened back behind him.
Yeah, we didn't even get a chance to talk about it. So of the guys who did come to pit road under that first caution, the leaders of that pack would have been West Shire, James Watson, and Stephen Thompson as well. More guys down the pit lane now, though, and Wes is back in again as well. So he's back out after making 2 stops. So it looks like we could be down to about 18 runners now from the 24 starting grid, and we're not even 10 minutes into this race, or just past 10 minutes now, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of cars coming into the pits early. Wes was, I'm going to say, half serious when he said this in the pre-race, but talking about what the strategy call might be tonight, and he said, well, I figure that out when I think about it and figure it out. It's interesting because now we're now down to about 40 minutes or so left. If you're going to have to break it down into 15, 30, 45, we're inside the window where you can make 2 stops work. If you're one of the race leaders, though, I would imagine you probably don't want to give up the track position and the potential at a 1-stopper if we keep getting cautions like this.
Yeah, and I think the onus is to keep on the track and keep the track position, especially for those guys in the back. If that was a car in front of West Shire, James Watson, those guys, they might have been out of this race as well. So being in the back of the pack can be a little bit dangerous, especially when we're constantly redoing restarts. Lights are out on the iRacing pace car as he pulls back in. Chris Kresge, Andrew Berry still down on the inside line, but they are away and racing. We're back under green flag conditions at Iowa Speedway.
Great start for Kresge. He's going to be the leader by 3 car lengths into turn number 1. Good battle shaping up back here behind him. Nagisa Yoshikawa, Jason Padu, Chris Clements, Simon Fell, all running toward another big pack of cars just back behind him as well. We saw 3 wide into turn 3. Didn't work on the restart last time there. Managed to get away with it here. Several packs going on, though. James Watson, Joe Varvel, Jason Miller, Mike Long. They're all battling. Oh, big contact. Huge hit there down the back straightaway. I think we're going to stay green. Looks like everybody's going to be able to get to pit road, but man, that was another set of big hits here early in this race. And you wonder if cars like James Watson, if they're not, Watson I think may have some damage here. That car goes around And that will bring out the caution flag. Third, quick yellow here.
I think we had a lapped car coming out of the pits there and got in the way of the guys running at speed. And just caught James Watson, and I think Jason Miller as well is in the pit lane. Michael Long as well in the pit lane. Those guys are going to go one lap down. James Watson's still on the lead lap, but he definitely has some damage there. I think I saw pieces of front wing fly off of his car.
Take a look here. Watson had a handful coming off of turn number 4. Car started to twitch a little bit. Yeah,
that was the one that brought out the yellow flag. I think there was contact on the lap before that was the cause of that. Yeah, he's all scuffed on that front wing, and he didn't hit anybody there. So
take a look here. Oh man, just big contacts. Several cars taking pretty big hits there. So now going back to the live look here, we have got an armada of race cars coming down pit road, led down by J.W. Miller in the number 6. ShockGuru.com, Premier Racing Setups, and National Racing Network on the side of that very pretty orange and blue race car.
Yeah, so JW, Jason Owens, Nagisa did come in from 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Chris Kresge and Andrew Barry did not pit, so they stayed out on the racetrack. They will be at the front of this field here, and it looks like JW, Jason, Nagisa, they're going to be about 7th, 8th, and 9th once these cycle through. Shane Holstein getting it out of their way now, so they're going to move up another spot. Interesting strategy here from the top 2. They're happy to stay out and keep going. They must be expecting another caution, or they think they're already at the point where they only need one more stop and they can make it the whole distance. We're 15 minutes into this race already, so it's right around that bubble time if you can stretch it out on one more stop.
I was just going to say, the clock I'm seeing is 37 minutes, 40 seconds to go. We've run a lot of this race under yellow to this point. The possibility exists that you can do it on one more stop. The interesting one for me is Peter Donchak, who's currently now running in the 5th position. Petey in the number 9, the Granger, Indiana native. GDI team, Bare Hands Brewery on the side of that car, running one of the Ukraine tribute liveries that we saw in the officials this week as well. Pace car comes back in. Peter Donchak electing not to come in after the stop at lap number 12. He's now up 18 spots to run 5th. He's the first car that has not stopped as Kresge gets away to a good lead. Off of turn number 2, top 4 going to separate themselves out. Good battle back there now with Donchak, Miller, and Owens.
Yeah, Miller, Owens, Yoshikawa all trying to get around him here, trying to get back up to the front. They don't want to let Chris and Andrew get too much space on them or they could break away. So we'll keep an eye on this battle for 5th place. Back in the rest of the pack. Looks like everybody's sorting themselves out. Not too many tight battles going on. And let's try and get into a rhythm here, guys. We've had 3 cautions here in the first 12, 13 minutes of this race. So let's see if we can get about 10 laps in, get some heat into the tires, and get a cycle going here.
Yeah, that's the big one. I would imagine it gets very frustrating behind the wheel trying to get a rhythm built up somewhere. At some point, you just want to log some laps. Get yourself sorted and try to be a little bit clean anyway. As J.W. Miller sets the fastest lap of the race at a 21:008. You talked about it a little bit before we came on air here, Kylo. Could somebody get into the 22nd bracket? That's faster lap times than what we even saw in the officials last week.
Yeah, the officials were running in the daytime, so they were probably about 5 or 6 degrees Celsius track temp higher for the official races. So we should be dipping down. Lowest times we saw in officials was a 21:150, I believe, 21:130, something like that. So we're already breaking that barrier, but pretty soon JW making a move to the inside here. of Chris Clement in the 66 machine, and he's going to get that pass completed. He's already back on the tail of Andrew and Chris, and he has 18, 19 lap fresher tires here. He's looking to make a move around the outside of Barry now.
I tell you what, that is it shows that the tire battle is going to mean something late in this race. If JW can make these kind of moves. Something we haven't talked about yet are the weather conditions tonight. We'll show you those presented by our friends at the Weather Center. Offensively accurate weather for Eastern Pennsylvania. By the way, with a fantastic Defend Ukraine shirt that is now available at theweathercenter.com. Check out the Cockswag shop over there. The now national rallying cry of "Go fuck yourself" in Ukrainian on the back of the shirt. Pretty spectacular. 70-degree ambient temperature. Winds going to be out of, call it the southeast, I guess, at 7 miles an hour. 72-degree ambient temperature, or track temperature, I should say. That tells me there's a lot of grip in this racetrack right now, and we're starting to see this pack form up.
There they go. J.W. Miller's going to go around the outside of Chris Kresge into turn 4. See if he can hold that outside line. James Watson cutting down to the apron there, getting out of the way. He is a lap down now. He will be 2 laps down. J.W. Miller, in just 5 or 6 laps here on fresh rubber, has gone from 6th place up to the front here, driving around the outside, using that high line to keep the momentum up out of the exits and pinch those guys down. Great drive from J.W., but here comes Kresge back down the front straightaway.
Kresge back to the inside into 1. Miller, I don't think he's going to be able to hold him off. He will not. Kresge around back to the race lead. Good battle here for most laps led, starting to shape up. Andrew Berry holding on to 3rd. It's a good run thus far as well for Chris Clement. Coming up on the lap car of Tyler Ziegler. Ziegler absolutely pounded the wall, spent 4 minutes on the pit lane getting repairs, and is already back up to 19th position. That's how heavy the attrition numbers have been tonight. Oh, 3 wide battle for the race lead.
JW almost getting involved with the lap traffic there. Kresge cleared him, JW couldn't, so that was the battle there. Now we're 3 wide behind him. Barry to the inside, Clement to the outside. Simon Fell is in there as well. They're getting back in line. Andrew Barry still underneath the lap car there.
Yeah, Tyler Ziegler not going quietly into that good night.
Here comes J.W. Miller back up on the inside of Kresge, down into turn 1. He will dive it up, and he will be clear. Let's see if he slides up on the exit, and he does. Kresge not going to be close enough, I don't think, to line up the move. Meanwhile, further back, looks like Chris Clement. Simon Fell going to be going at it here again.
I'll tell you what, we've seen the swap draft used very effectively on some of these racetracks. That's just not happening tonight with Kresge and J.W. Miller. They're swapping the lead back and forth, but it's letting everybody else join the party.
Yeah, they're getting lined up behind him now, starting to get a little stacked, crossing over on each other. One goes to the inside one corner, the other one dives to the inside behind him. See if they can keep a line going here for just a little bit. Kresge is going to back off into turn 3, so we'll be single file for the first lap here at speed. Everybody else behind still going. Not much progress from Jason Owens and Wes Shire. Not as much progress as I thought would be. JW was able to drive around these guys, but everybody else is really holding position from where we were on the restart here.
Yeah, outside of J.W. Miller, everybody that stopped at lap 18 is running 7th or worse. That's Jason Owens, Wes Shire, Joe Varvel. As I say that, Jason Owens coming around Peter Donchak. J.W., it almost feels like, has something a little bit special sauce in the setup of that race car, because he has used new tires absolutely spectacularly to get to the front of the field. The question becomes for Chris Kresge, Andrew Berry, Chris Clement, Simon Fell, they may only have to do one stop, but if it's a green flag stop, that could really put them behind the 8 ball here.
Yeah, JW is really quick this week. Nagisi Ishikawa, the setup builder for Premier Race Setups, Team Watson Racing did a great job on the setup this week. We were fast all week. Chris Preston ran the setup into P4 at the end of the strength of field race there, so that setup has been lightning quick, and JW himself is not too shabby a driver as well. So that setup looking good, being able to cut through the traffic here. But yeah, back to the pit strategy now. I think these guys have figured out where they want to run. A little bit of lift and coast going into turn 1 here down the front straightaway, just trying to keep it nice and tidy for a little bit. We've been going for about 20 laps or so here under green flag conditions now, so we're starting to get in there. We should see pit stops probably in the next 20 to 25 laps here.
Go on board with Jason Owens. Let's take a listen here, see how much lifting he may be doing in the corners. Doesn't sound like much, if any. He's keeping that car wound up pretty tight on the outside of the racetrack here. The only the drop in RPM we're seeing is more just because you're cornering than a true lift.
Yeah, he was side by side where with Chris Clement. Clement now stuck on that inside line and not able to squeeze up. Just tucks in now in front of West Shire. But that definitely was a similarity from the strength of field race on Thursday. The inside line, if you got stuck down there, it was a train around the outside of momentum, and you could not get back in, and you were a sitting duck on the straightaways. So looking to be the same case here. Kresge getting a little aggressive now, going down into turn.
Kresge going to take the race lead back from J.W. Miller off at turn number 2. Andrew Berry stays tucked right in line behind Miller. Looking at the point standings, couple of shakeups are going to come. Now, there is a drop week that will come into play, but you don't want to use it in week number 3. James Watson, unfortunately, will have to use his. He entered the night 4th in points, 12 points back of points leader West Shire. A 19th place finish is not going to get you where you want to be come the end of the season. Oh, man. That was tight off of 4.
He almost lost it. He's going to lose a lot of spots here, dropping down to 4th place. Jason Owens on the outside. The lap car, once again, of Tyler Ziegler around the outside. Much quicker to get around the leaders this time. JW still on the inside here of Jason Owens, though, so he's going to probably end up in about 4th or so. Got really loose on the inside line and exiting 4. I think that lap car on the exit just put him off a little bit, put in a little too much input. Nice save, though, to keep it going and to keep in line here. He's going to drop down to the inside now. Going to have Peter Donchak on the outside now.
Tell you what, this is a hell of a run for Peter Donchak. And Peter is very quick. We've seen him be good in the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series. They will be coming back here in just a few weeks as well. But he's quick in the IndyCar. We've seen him be quick in the PM18. Not a surprise that he's up front, but a huge improvement, up 18 spots from where he started this race. West Shire, Chris Clement still going to be side by side. This is starting to get the feeling of time to go here. If you're Jason Owens, who's gotten around J.W. Miller to take 3rd. Oh, man, Kresge got way loose. What a save by Chris Kresge.
Jason Owens is going to take over the lead here. Andrew Berry also had to check up on the inside, so it's going to be Jason Owens and J.W. Miller, 1 and 2. Andrew Berry is going to be fighting on the outside. The attack from Peter Donchak doesn't look like he's going to get that, and it sounds like we're getting a call on the radio. Kresge is in this lap. Kresge is boxing this lap, so that was his race limit. He's in for his first stop of the night.
At the 24-minute, 10-second mark, Chris Kresge having to make his first stop. Oh, man, that is going to be tight, making it on one stop. Andrew Berry, we're following along with here, waiting to see when he comes in. If he's able to squeeze another 30 seconds worth of fuel out of this car, I guess it would be 2 laps. That would be huge. That would get him to one stop. But he's not. Nope, he's going to have to come in this time, as is Simon Fell. Oh, keep it onto the apron there, Simon. Nice job keeping the car down there. It is a stop-go penalty if you get the car back up onto the racetrack trying to get into the pits. So looking at the numbers now here, Kylo, the theoretical number is 54. However, we know everybody now will have to stop one more time with the exception of Simon Fell, Andrew Berry, Chris Clement, and Chris Kresge. At this point, I would be willing to bet that the leaders are now hoping for a caution flag and trying to trap some of those quick cars a lap down.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that they'll be able to stretch it all the way to the end. That's 25 minutes of green flag running. That is definitely not enough fuel. We ran maybe 9 or 10 laps under caution, but that wasted a lot of time early in the race. So they really haven't been up to speed for as many laps as it sounds like. Probably only about 30 to 35 since the restart here, since we're running lap 56. And the leaders have not been to pit road since about lap 18 or 19. So we'll see how long that takes them. I don't know. They definitely might have to make one more stop, and that could be them out of the fight here if this stays green.
I was just going to say, if this goes green the rest of the way, it puts guys like Berry, Kresge, Clement, and Fell in a very good position because and again, this is my very amateur math here, lap 59 to lap 64 is where your race leaders are going to have to stop, with the exception of Peter Donchak. He's going to be due on the pit lane anytime at this point. Got a little bit of a break there with the lap 18 caution, so he'll be able to go a little bit further than 58. But the reality is you're talking almost guaranteed 2 more stops. If you're these cars running at the front, you don't get a lot of caution help.
Yeah, so we'll watch these leaders here, see how they run. They're running the real high line right now as they go through some lap traffic here. Only one car going to be down to the bottom. That's going to be the 86 of Joe Varvel. Still hard to tell some of these guys apart. Have to look check the numbers of all the Ukrainian flags out there, but not a complaint, just an observation there. Gisi Yoshikawa is going to go to the outside of Peter Donchak. See if they can keep that line going. So just looking back into the pack now, trying to pick up where our previous leaders were. Andrew Berry is going to be the first car 1 lap down. Chris Kresge is running behind him, 3/10 behind him. Chris Clement, another half a second back from them. So they are the first cars 1 lap down. And they are going to be fighting, really, just to make sure that they don't get trapped under caution here, because if they do, these guys up front get a free pit stop. That is going to be game over for them. No free passes here in the PM18s. They would need to get a wave around, which in theory they could get if the entire field bar them comes in. Looks like JW Miller is going to be diving down a pit lane. JW Miller into the pits. Yep,
JW is in. He is one of the cars that stopped at lap number 18. And quite frankly, what this tells me is we are looking at 2 more stops for everybody here. So the early attempts at some fuel-saving games maybe not playing out the way that some of these drivers would have expected. Wes Shire, who currently runs second, has made 3 pit stops already to top the tank off with fuel. Oh, thought we were going to see Jason Owens come down pit lane that time. And at this point, this is even worse news for guys like J.W. Miller and Andrew Berry, because at this point, they haven't come around the cars on pit lane. So if the yellow were to come out, there wouldn't even be the possibility of the wave around either.
No, not at all. Yeah, here on the head of Andrew.
Ooh, my goodness, you just went absolutely full potato on us here.
I sure did. Thank you, Elon Musk and Starlink Internet. We're back now. Sorry about that, everybody. I was just pointing out J.W. Miller, Andrew Berry, Chris Kresge are in a line now, exiting turn number 2. J.W. Miller was able to retain position on Andrew Berry, Chris Kresge, even though they pit about 5 to 10 laps earlier there. So they are running 8th, 9th, 10th right now, 1 lap down. So the only cars left who have not pit are your top three right now. Westshire, Nagisa Yoshikawa, Joe Varvel, Jason Owens, Steven Thompson are in the pit lane now. So we'll see where they cycle out. And it sounds like everybody else on Team Chat is coming in. There they go. The remaining cars are going to dive in. So we'll pick up J.W. Miller, Andrew Barry coming out of turn number 2 here. They should be the leaders. There goes Jason Owen on the bottom. So Jason Owens is going to cycle out behind them, right, and coming out with Chris Clement there, who's going to be having the momentum on the high side, so should be able to carry around him.
Now, here's the one that I really wonder. The guys who stopped at the halfway point, they're very likely to have to make 2 more stops.
Oh, and a caution is out. Caution is out.
Yellow flag on the speedway.
Oh,
big is Jason Owens.
And Jason Owens. Oh, no.
J.W. Miller, Jason Owens, both going to be involved in this one. Huge incident. Turn number 4. What in the world happened there?
It looks like we had Shane Holstein, who was stopped in the middle of the track, hitting the outside barrier. He's going to be out on pit exit. And yeah, he's just going to loop the back end around out on pit exit. He's holding the brake.
Oh! Pulled right down into the race leader. Oh, what a heartbreaker for J.W. Miller. Oh, man, and this changes everything complexion-wise in this race. I think Jason Owens did not get any damage in that incident. Let's take a look here. Follow along with Owens. I think he just spun.
Yeah,
just kind of loops the car around, grabs the gear, and away he goes.
Yeah, he was just on the brakes there in a weird spot, and the car will do that. Good save from him, though, just to do a little loop and continue on. So everybody back into pit lane now. The guys who had just made it to green flag stops there, they were very close on fuel, according to driver chat there. So everybody else is going to come back in and coming around to complete lap 70.
And it looks like we're going to have a couple of more cars coming down pit lane. What an absolute heartbreaker for J.W. Miller. So getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. Oh, man, reset things a little bit with 16 minutes to go. Oh, man, this is going to be crazy tight on fuel. And it looks like, wow, that is the latest restart I have ever seen. They were to the start-finish line before they went.
Westshire was having an issue. He was being told to pass the pace car there as the leader, so there was a little bit of confusion going on. Nagisa Yoshikawa is going to be moving into the lead.
Oh, big squeeze up into the outside wall.
Definitely some contact there in the back. Looks like it's going to be Jason Pedu possibly jumping back there. One of the Ukrainian cars definitely hit the outside barrier.
Yeah, there were several cars that made contact there. Battle for the race lead ongoing as well here. We've got action all over the racetrack. Westshire coming back around Nagisa Yoshikawa. He'll be your race leader back to turn number 1. Now Joe Varvel going to work on Yoshikawa. Jason Owens right there. Can Owens spin and win? Looking a little bit deeper in the pack, picking up Colin Johnston and Simon Fell.
So we passed the 15 minutes to go mark here at the race. 35 minutes completed. We'll see if these guys stay patient for a little bit. Different look up front. Wes Shire, Nagisa Yoshikawa, and Joe Varvel are the top three. Those guys haven't been out front much tonight, so we'll see what their pace is like. Everybody should be pretty similar at this point. All last laps were running really quick. Colin Johnston in 7th place doing a 21.02 last lap, so he's quick. Oh, Yoshikawa having an issue. He's going to be in the middle 3 wide.
Oh, buddy, how about 4 wide off of turn number 4? Good Lord.
Something happened to Nagisa there in the middle of 3 and 4. He is dropping down. He seems to be back up onto the pace now. So it'll be Wes Shire, Joe Varvel, Jason Owens, and Andrew Berry going side by side into turn 3.
Man, Owens had that car wound up a little bit, thought about making it 3 wide up to the outside of the racetrack. Berry slides right up in front of him, chops the air off the front of the 87 machine. Now Berry going to work on Varvel. We talked about it, the potential of issues for Andrew Berry and Chris Kresge. Well, the caution flag absolutely wiped that out. They were able to make pit stops. Berry now back up to 3rd. Kresge running 5th. This one is going to be good. And with the restart at 16 minutes to go, I don't know that they can make it on fuel.
No, it should be go. They should be go on fuel. These guys should be all push, push, push. We got Andrew Berry back up into 2nd place now. Jason Owens and Joe Varvel going into turn number 1. Jason Owens is going to take the outside. Now Kresge looking to use that outside that got him up to 2nd place in Thursday night strength of field race. See if that can take him back up to the front here. He was down in 6th place when this restart took place. So he's up a couple of spots up into 4 as he gets right up against the outside wall as they head back into turn number 1.
They got a great run on Jason Owens into 1. Both Kresge and Varvel all over the rear wing of the 87 Riley Children's Foundation Extra Life entry of Jason Owens. He's able to hold on for 3rd to this point. It's interesting here. The last race we ran at Iowa Speedway, everybody in the top 5 had some form of an incident. In fact, including Wes Shire had 6 incidents over the course of the race. 6th place Alex Teeter was the first guy to run a clean race, and there was only 4 in the entire field that ran a completely clean race at Iowa Speedway. We're seeing more of that tonight. A lot of close quarters action, and quite frankly, more contact than we might expect to see.
Yeah, the guys up front have been really clean about it. In the back of the pack and on some restarts there, we did see some trouble for a couple of guys there. Wes Shire, though, the only man to be making 4 pit stops and still be on the lead lap. Actually, stand corrected, Peter Donchak also making 4 pit stops. He is on the lead lap. But Wes, the king of fuel saving, just decided to top up whenever he felt like it tonight, and strategy seems to be working out for him. He is leading the race here as we are just about to come under 10 minutes of race time left. Wes Shire out front, race winner in week 1. Andrew Berry, race winner in week 2. So we'll see if one of them can repeat or we get a new winner for week number 3.
Man alive, this is the green flag racing that we've seen has been about as intense as it gets, and the points are just as tight. Your top 5 entering the night: Wes Shire, Andrew Berry, J.W. Miller, James Watson, Simon Fell. Of those cars, Simon is the 2nd worst running. James Watson currently out of the race in 21st. Simon runs 7th. Wes is leading. Andrew Berry, 2nd in points, is running 2nd. This is really could be one of those, you have to be podium, maybe top 5 if you want to have a shot at a championship.
Yeah, with how quick guys like Wes and Andrew are, they're barely going to make any slip-ups here. They dominate the ovals in these cars. So if guys behind are looking to make up ground on him, they got to try and beat him. Chris Kresge's looking to make a move. He's past Jason Owens, and he's up into third place. He's looking around to try and find a way around Andrew Berry here, as we have now crossed over into 10 minutes remaining, in 10 seconds, I guess. 10 minutes remaining in this race. Westshire getting up on the wall. These guys are starting to get stacked up behind him here.
All 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. Kresge, Owens, and Cullen Johnston. Cullen with a great run down to the inside of the racetrack. Kresge still to the inside of Owens. Johnston going to line up behind him. Joe Varvel in line behind Owens.
Still side by side, and now he's going to go on the inside of Andrew Berry into turn number 3. We're starting to see a little bit of that pack racing these guys were talking about. 2 by 2 by 2 behind the race leader, Westshire.
Oh, man, Cullen thought about going 3 wide down to the inside of the racetrack.
Kresge's making up ground on that inside lane. He is now equal with Westshire. In fact, he's going to take the lead going down the start-finish line. Andrew Berry's going to get the run. They're going to be going 3 wide for the lead going into turn number 1. Andrew Berry's going to duck into the inside. He's going to grab the lead there. Westshire dropping down to almost 4th position in the space of a corner and a half.
Intense racing here at the front of the field. Kresge, Berry, Shire, Johnston, Owens, your top 5, 6 through 10. Clement, Varvel, Feld, Donchak, and Padu. How about 11 cars within a second and a half of the race lead here with 8.5 minutes left to go? We're seeing about 24 to go if this stays green, 25 to go. It's almost time for things to start getting really intense.
Yeah, if you don't call this already really intense, then I don't know what you've been watching. It's a great racing action we've got here. Andrew Berry, for the first time really all night, is stretching away, pulling a bit of a gap to the rest of the field as they battle side by side for P2 there. Chris Kresge and Cullen Johnston battling into turn number 1. Kresge's going to take the outside line and line up back into P2. He's going to want to try and catch back up to Andrew Berry, not let him get too far away. Because once you lose that draft help, you're going to be a sitting duck to the cars behind you.
I was going to say, if you're Berry, do you almost need to back down a little mid-corner maybe? Only because you don't want to get the big lead? Because you're going to get absolutely freight-trained if these guys get lined up with a couple of laps to go.
Iowa's not that big of a draft track. There definitely isn't that pull effect. It's more of once you're in the gap, it's going to be hard to leave it kind of a thing. Right up until about maybe a 10th or 2 behind the car in front, you're not going to get the overspeed enough to pass them here because these guys are running so quick already. But doesn't look like any of that matters. Kresge and Westshire have caught right back up to the back of Andrew Berry there. So that lead is gone, and we're back to single file racing here for now. Let's see how long these guys keep it that way.
6 minutes, 45 seconds remain here in the TNT Shock Series at the Iowa Speedway. Best lap time for race leader Andrew Berry, 21:175. Last lap time, 21:401. Fields only about 0.3 of a second off their best lap time. Cullen Johnston within a 1/10 of his fastest lap of the race, running in the 4th position.
So your top 10 as we head into the final stage of this race will be Andrew Berry up front, Chris Kresge P2, Westshire P3, Cullen Johnson, Jason Owens round out the top 5. Joe Varvel, Simon Fell, Chris Clement, Peter Donchak, and Jason Padu are your top 10. Nagisa Yoshikawa, Mac Galaja, and Stephen C. Thompson will be the last cars on the lead lap in 11th, 12th, and 13th.
I can't believe Mac Galida is still running on the lead lap here. He had his fair share of incidents early on. Whatever the woes were in that car, he's gotten them figured out. Man, this race a little bit towards the back of this lead draft really starting to heat up. Back to going 2 by 2, and we've seen it a couple of times tonight. netcode is very much a thing here in the race this evening. It almost feels like you need to be close, but not too close.
Yeah, definitely. These PM18s are a little bit notorious for having some worse than usual netcode. So the guys are trying to give themselves a lot of space, using all the racetrack now, all the way up on the top there and all the way down to the bottom. They got lots of room to run. We got 5 minutes to go in this race. And Andrew Berry still out front, not really being pressured from Chris Kresge behind. Now he's looking to break the draft going into turn number 3. He's running that low line, cutting back up. Kresge on the outside of Cullen Johnson, though. These guys still running side by side, not losing too much time. Westshire, Jason Owens lurking in the background, ready to pounce. But these guys in the back of this lineup here, the P7, 8, 9, 10, those guys definitely are looking to move forward here. It's go time for those guys because they are running out of time.
4 minutes, 20 seconds to go here at the Iowa Speedway. Still 11 cars within 1 second of the race leader. Absolute insanity. Call it about a second and a half, actually, is the gap from first to 11th. Oh, we got cars up into the outside wall. Big hit for Chris Clement and Peter Donchak. Tough break for Donchak and Clement. Donchak was going to try to get that car to roll back, but unfortunately he had to take the tow as well. Keep your eye towards the, we'll say, midpoint of the screen here. Oh, contact with Yoshikawa. Got Clement hard into the outside wall. Man, that was a huge hit for both of those guys.
Yeah, really unfortunate there. Nagisa just looked to the inside, and Chris cut in a little bit on him there on the entrance into that corner. So we'll see. I'm just trying to listen into the driver chat here, see how these guys are talking. Seeing how many laps we're going to get left here. We only have a few minutes remaining. Quickie cautions are on, though, so they should be getting the 2 to go here. Sorry.
Yep, 2 to go signal this time by the start-finish line. It should take any questions about fuel, if there were any. They're now out the window. Stephen C. Thompson is electing to come down pit lane this time, as we see Andrew Berry attempting to procreate with the pace car here off of turn number 2. Berry, Kresge, Johnston, Shire, and Owens, your top 5.
Sorry, just meant to say doing his best Kyle Busch impression there. Just giving the pace car a little bump draft, telling him to get a move on here because they want to get back to racing.
Yeah, there is going to be not much time left here. In fact, it'll be inside of 2 minutes to go. Last lap time, 51:49 for Andrew Berry. We are going to have just over a minute remaining when we come back to green flag racing. As close as you're ever going to get to a green-white checkered in a time-limited series like this one. In fact, we may have, last lap time was 1:04 for your race leaders. This could be a 2-lap shootout.
Yeah, what's that old DW outage? Doesn't matter how you got there, just as long as it does, because it's going to be a green-white checkered.
So let's reset the field here. Your front row is still your top 2 in order. Andrew Berry, Chris Kresge, Cullen Johnston up 4 to run in the 3rd position. Wes Shire runs 4th where he started. Jason Owens is up 3 to run 5th. Simon Fell up 5 in 6th. Rest of the lead lap cars, Joe Varvel, Nagisa Yoshikawa, Jason Padu, Matt Galida, Stephen Thompson. Pace car is in. 1 minute 5 seconds to go. Green flag is in the air. We're back underway here at Iowa. Again, not a quick restart whatsoever.
Andrew Berry holding up the field as long as he could, going down into turn 1. We'll see what Kresge does here. Jason Owens is going to dive down to the inside of Wes Shire coming out of turn 2. Down the backstretch they go. Winding up again. Owens is just about clear of Wes Shire. He's going to pull up in front of him. Almost some contact there. Here we go. We still have 2 more laps to go. White flag is not out yet. Andrew Berry in the lead. Kresge on the high side into turn 2. Cullen Johnson down low is going to lose the momentum. Kresge does check up and stay behind Barry here, though. He definitely had a run on him, but led off there, trying to set himself up. Coming down to the line now, 15 seconds to go. White flag is in the air. Kresge's going to go down to the inside into turn number 1. He's going to clear Andrew Barry. Can he slide up in front of him? He's going to get to the high side and block. Down to the low side they go. Barry's going to go around the outside. Into turn 3 they go. Kresge still has the lead. Through turn 4.
Oh,
They're
big contact back in the pack.
Chris Kresge is going to win at Iowa.
Kresge getting the win over Andrew Berry. Jason Owens runs third. Wes Shire and Simon Fell, your top 5. Good night in the points for your top 3. Joe Varvel, Jason Padu, Matt Galida, Stephen Thompson, and Cullen Johnston will round out the top 10. There is race winner Chris Kresge, the RAL Team Speed Revolution Indy League 777. He's going to burn them down, and we'll show you your final race results. Kresge the winner over Barry, Owens, Shire, and Fell. Varvel, Padu, Galida, Thompson, and Johnston the top 10. Nagisi Yoshikawa, Peter Dodchak, Chris Clement, Mike Long, and Jason Miller back through the 15th position. 16 through 20, J.W. Miller, Vic Aldrich, Shane Holstein, Tyler Ziegler, and Dave Sparks. James Watson coming home a disappointing 21st. Robert Drew, 22nd. Nick Simone, 23rd. And Nick Camargo in the 24th position here this evening. Good Lord, that was absolutely intense. Going to have a good bit to talk about here with these drivers as we get ready for the Victory Lane interviews. And let's kick things off here with, find the spot anyway that we're going to bring them back to. Kick things off tonight with your winner, Mr. Chris Kresge. I tell you what, bud, this is twice now we've been talking to you after fantastic runs at the Iowa Speedway. Congratulations on picking up a big win tonight in your first start of the season here in the TNT Shock Series.
Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe I should show up some more.
Well, as time commitments allow anyway, but you got an interesting one here for your first start of the season. You stretched the fuel run to the halfway point of the race, knowing probably full well you were going to need 2 more stops again anyway. What was the kind of going through your head there in terms of strategy? This played out a little odd. A lot of cautions early and then a lot of green flag late.
Yeah, I thought there would be another caution there, but there was a long green flag run there for a while, and I was kind of playing chicken with Andrew as well as far as if he was going to pit or I pit, and we both stayed out there, and I thought I screwed myself, but it, worked out anyway.
That last restart, what amounted to a green-white checkered finish, it looked like Hilo nailed the call on it. It almost looked like you backed off of a run with about a lap and a half to go. Was that purposeful that you wanted to make that run on the last lap?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I didn't want to take a chance of them getting a run on me on the last lap, so I wanted to make that run and then just try to hold them off for a corner there, and it worked out.
So, well, Chris, what would you say the differences were from running in the night here to the daytime SOF races? You didn't seem to like the inside line too much on Thursday, but worked out well for you tonight, made the pass for the lead.
Yeah, I felt much more comfortable on the inside. Car was grippier, obviously, so I can hold it in there without getting. I did lose it at one point, and I was fortunate nobody hit me. That was before my first pit stop, but other than that, really grippy everywhere on the track. So yeah, just a really nice win. I do want to say that I think there was an issue with the pace car, and perhaps this should be Wes's win, because it was telling him that he had to pass the pace car and he would have been a lap ahead of everybody, and he didn't. So I don't know what happened there, but it's possible that this should have actually been Wes's win.
Yeah, that sounds like an iRacing foobar on this one. And speaking of complete pucker factor Zulu moment, we just caught on the replay off of turn 4. How hard did you hit the outside wall coming to the white flag?
Well, a little bit. No damage. I wasn't too worried about it. I did that all week, and I knew what the car could take, and it was fine.
Well, a hell of a win for you tonight. Congratulations. Let's make sure we get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Yeah, so I am the admin of the Revolution Indy League, and we are starting our next series next week. We have a Lotus 79, kind of a throwback to the late 70s, early 80s kart USAC. A bunch of ovals and a couple road courses there. That's starting next week. And if anybody wants to check that out, they can go to rilracing.com. And I also want to thank Schaefer's Oil for supporting me. And I want to thank you guys. You guys do an amazing job, as always. So.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the very kind words there. And let's bring in our runner-up finisher tonight here, Mr. Andrew Berry. And, man, I'll tell you what, Andrew, coming back to this last restart, it seemed like there was an issue on the last green flag with Wes Shire being told to pass the pace car when he shouldn't have been, would have put him a lap ahead and all sorts of stuff. Were you experiencing some of that stuff, or were you just going full Colton Herta on that restart?
Oh, no, I was on that last one. I was just full send. I didn't have anything for Kresge at the end there, but yeah, it was just full send all the way to the end.
It was an interesting race, to say the least. We asked Chris this same question about the pit strategy. You elected to stay out until the halfway point of the race, knowing you were probably going to need 2 more stops again, or very likely anyway, to need to stop again. What was the thought process there once we got all those early yellows? Was it just a kind of one of those deals of these are the cards we're being dealt, run with it?
Yeah, I really should have pitted when Jason and all of them pitted. It was, in hindsight, being 2020, that was a mistake. But we hadn't gone green for more than like 2 or 3 laps, it felt like, up to that point. So I was just basically expecting it to keep doing what it was doing, and then we got that long green flag run, and it just about bit me if that last or second to last caution hadn't come out when it did.
Yeah, Andrew, you weren't out front much tonight, but you were in line there. Were you just holding back a little bit, trying to make sure you were in the right spot at the right time there, or do you think that Chris was truly the master of the race tonight?
Oh, he played it perfectly at the end. I was mostly just hanging back and saving fuel for most of that race. I knew it could be close, so I just was using the toe to do some saving. But yeah, I was hoping he would pass me right after I passed him, and he didn't, and just stuck behind me. So I tried to bait him into passing me, and he didn't take the bait. So I knew coming to 2 or 3 to go that he had me set up. So and there wasn't really much I could do to defend. That move's just way too powerful right then.
Looking at the way the numbers are shaking out here, you had a, quite frankly, very good points night. Wes coming home a little bit behind you. You should make up the 4-point gap that you were back entering the night. Some of the other guys having issues, obviously JW wrecking out when he did, finishing 16th. James finishing 21st. We know there's a drop week that comes into play, but it's got to be a little bit of a confidence boost knowing that some of your contenders have already had to use that mulligan early in the season.
Yeah, it's definitely beneficial. So yeah, it's definitely a good points haul. I can't complain about second as far as that's concerned.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations once again on a very nice second place finish here. Let's make sure we let you get in all the sponsor shout outs, plugs, and thank yous.
Yeah, just thank my team, Action Sim Sport, and I hoping all of the stuff in Ukraine sorts itself out before too long.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in with us here, and yeah, so we will echo those sentiments in a pretty wide berth there. Let's bring in our third place finisher tonight here, Jason Owens. We weren't sure if you were going to be able to spin and win, but I guess 5th to 3rd in a couple of laps is not a bad way to go.
No, I'm still kicking myself for not pitting on that second to last caution where Andrew came in. I knew it was going to be tight, but I thought we'd have like another 30 seconds before we went to green, and so I had to sit there and pedal. And then right when I got good on fuel to the end, we get that last caution, and then it was just a mad dash. And I hate that I washed up into Wes, and like that was just all around crazy. But yeah, tried to spin to win. I don't know, man. I don't know what it was out there tonight, but I was finding where the cool track was, and I was just really able to make the high side work during that middle green flag run, and it was a blast being out there.
It seemed like if you were close to the front of the field, you were in good shape. If you were anywhere near the midfield, especially around some of the lap traffic, things were beyond hairy.
They were super beyond hairy, especially when we came through a couple of lap cars a couple times. I have to take a look at that. And then obviously I have to figure out what in the world went on with iRacing race control. I think they have some opportunities with car positioning when a yellow comes out as somebody's exiting pit road and the pace car triggers. I know Wes is a great driver. He was not two laps up on me when that car came out, having pitted a lap after I did. So, we're going to clip that and send it into iRacing to get the bugs checked there, because I think something with the pace car trigger was odd.
Yeah, that's to say the least. There were some issues tonight that we saw on the iRacing side with race control, not the human admins tonight, but it seems like you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you have iRacing call the yellow flags, you get the messes that come with that. Even if you have a human adminning the race, you still potentially have issues if you're going to be in green flag pit stops.
Yeah, and I just want to give Mike McCullen a shout out. He's our live race control. We've had some weird stuff happen before in this series that we didn't have the ability to rectify in the middle of the race because we didn't have live race control. But having Mike in, he was able to clear black flags, knowing that we had cars where they should be positioned, and we were able to react, even though the whole oddness with waiting until the car got to the start-finish line before firing the green was odd. But just thankful Mike's able to be our live in-race admin, and you guys are able to be here to broadcast it. So I think everybody but Andrew was going to be super tight on fuel on that last run, and we were going to have 5 or 6 cars like sputter across the line.
That was it. We went back to green at like 16 minutes to go, and I'm like, I don't think we can make this on fuel. How tight were you once with that last green or with that last caution flag?
So until that last caution flag came out, I was either going to be a 1/10 of a liter short or 2/10 of a liter good, depending on where it took the fuel reading on either the front stretch or the back stretch on the timing line. So it was going to be tight, and there were a lot of guys that were pushing it in clean air. I mean, I saved that entire run. I was worried for Wes being out front in that run, but it all worked out, other than those of us that got into each other there at the end, which I hate. So,
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you hanging out with us here, and make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in here before we let you out of here.
Yeah, I just want to first off, I want to thank everybody in the race that's running we're thinking of Ukraine livery. I know, we're just playing a silly video game, and we don't have anything in our lives that is anywhere close to the harrowing terror that a lot of just regular family folks are going through in Ukraine right now. So, shout out to everybody running that livery, and then obviously, always want to say thanks to Extra Life and Riley Children's Hospital.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in here. And, man, I'll tell you what, here, Kylo, looking at the updated point standings after this one, Andrew Berry going to be your new points leader by 3 over West Shire. J.W. Miller, Simon Fell, Jason Owens, your top 5. Owens, the biggest mover of the week, up 4 to grab that 5th position. James Watson tumbling 2 down to the 6th position. 7 through 10, Cullen Johnston, Nagisa Yoshikawa, Chris Kresge in 9th, which I guess would make him the biggest mover of the week, but it's his first week on the standings. And Jason Padu rounding out your top 10. We really have a very interesting schedule coming up here, and quite frankly, a lot of tight racing. We're not even to the midpoint of the season yet.
No, things are just getting started here in the Shock Series. Great racing again tonight from the guys out front. And, again, a weird race there. A lot of cautions at the start, that long green flag run, and then the dash at the end there. We saw some really good action, though, and another first-time winner in the series.
Yeah, making it 3 for 3 on the season. 3 races, 3 different winners. Actually, no, sorry. Let me correct that here. Seeing some, there we go. 3 different winners, good Lord, in 3 races. West Shire, Andrew Berry, Chris Kresge. I can't read is the problem here. We come back next week heading off to Southern National Motorsports Park. That place is going to be insane with these PM18s.
Yeah, it's almost like a Bristol for these cars. Super tight little track, a lot of banking there, and should be a lot of fun to see these guys go wheel to wheel.
Well, that will wrap up our coverage here tonight of the TNT Shock Series. This one has been a ton of fun to call tonight, as always. Have to say a huge thank you to my partner up here in the booth, Mr. Kylo Ciacelli, and also have to say a big shout out to Premier Racing Setups. Thank you very much for coming on board and stepping up to help support our efforts here on the National Racing Network. They're one of the longest running setup shops on the iRacing service. Whether you need speed on the dirt or the asphalt, Premier has you covered with race-winning setups. They also have ultimate setup guides for many different vehicles and even offer one-on-one coaching from some of iRacing's best builders. If you want to take your iRacing career to the next level, check out PremierRacingSetups.com to witness the new standard. With that, we are getting out of here. For Mr. Connor Baldwin handling the camera design for us this evening. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that. And my partner in the booth, Kylo Ciacelli. My name is Chris Graham. We will talk to you all tomorrow night. The Sim Racers Club heading off for North Wilkesboro Speedway. Coming up in just a couple of weeks, the Fuel Premier Series heading off to Daytona. That'll be the new Monday night show here. And we will be back 1 week from tonight with a TNT Shock Series at Southern National. Until then, we will talk to you all soon. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and we hope to talk to you again soon. Have a great night, everybody.